Good morning. Today we are going to start with the first chapter, the overview and critical system software process. We'll be spending around 7 hours on that, and first internal examination is based on that. And we'll be conducting a class test also before we conduct the actual internal exam one, right? So this is what usually we do. Now let's get into the first overview of that. Already we have introduced why this course and all. Maybe sometimes here and there may be overlapping of this, right? You may have to get into. If there is an overlapping, I'll quickly move to the next aspect, right? So it is about the software engineering. We are talking all about introduction. Just a minute. Yeah. Right. So now the objectives of this particular chapter is very clear. Okay, we need to understand the scope and necessity of software engineering, right? Then answer to the key questions about software engineering, type of system, complexity, causes of and solutions of software crisis, which already we have introduced a little bit, right? And finally, and with ethical and professional issues, they are very important thing. Okay, now we consider this as a part of human values, okay, which we have highlighted in our vision statement also, right? So now let's begin. I've shown you yesterday about the Honda vehicle manufacturing, right? When you go through that one, already we have done it, right? You understand that one system is made up of several subsystems, right? Subsystem is made up of several components. They connect with each other, they cooperate, there is a sequencing, ordering and all, hence make the system. And we have seen that one, how small program you can do it in first year C programming and all, but that is a program, it is not a product. But when you look into whole building, okay, construction, apartment construction, you find that it is a whole product and all these things. Okay, the basic difference between the previous thing, okay, this constructing a small thing and building a big thing is about the complexity. This also we have gone through, and also we have gone through the this particular cartoon, right, telling about how exactly, right, we okay, have a mismatch with the customer requirements and produce a wrong product and all, right? This is true. However, professionally we do that one, right? So different phases of product development is an important. Already we have gone through that one, I'll skip this, right? And look at that, the reputation of software industry has gained a reputation of not delivering software within a schedule and budget, and of producing okay, poor quality product. Why it is so? The one and only one reason is about the complexity. So you need to manage complexity, you need to have a proper planning, you need to have a systematic way of developing, right? All these things, if you don't do that, then this is what finally you will say, get into that. And once you lose a reputation, right, you lose a market also. So you need to have a systematic development process and all, which you are going to study now. Now, look at that. Whenever you see a black and white completely, this is the scanned copy of the textbook. Whenever you see colorful things and all, it is a, okay, I have inserted into that. This is the protocol, this understanding, you should have it. Right? Now, look into that. A small project, first year C programming, small project, it could be small, okay, programming and all, right? So you don't need anything, informal, okay, development methods. Probably, okay, there is no requirement, there is no design as such, you particularly speak about that. Project management are totally informal, right? But when you move from the small project to the large project, then, right, you need everything a formal way. People management, resource management, requirement gathering, design, documentation, right? You need to have a certain tools required, you need to have a very systematic way of doing it. So otherwise your product will fail, right? You do not meet the customer requirements, and you will spoil your reputation with your customer, you lose a customer base, and finally a business, right? In that way, this particular course is important thing. The other thing you look into that, right? When size increases, right? Complexity, effort required, okay, to develop the things and all, procedures required, they all increases and all. A simple example, assume that you people know about the preparation of Jira rice. You know how to prepare a Jira rice for one person. Good. 2 person, good. Okay, you don't need any formal way of preparing a product called Jira Rise, serving, managing people, managing table, right, and all other etiquettes. You don't need that, right? But if at all you are developing a Jira Rise for 1,000 people, right, that is a complexity we are talking about. That, right, is beyond human intellectual capability. So you need that is a complexity we are talking. So you need a systematic approach of managing complexity, right? That's what we were talking. Now look into the another beautiful thing, right? When we talk about the complexity, now I'm talking horizontally, lower management complexity, higher management complexity. It's the management of resources, management of people, right? Management of documents, management of deliverables, management of revision that you do. Okay, all these things we talk about that, right? It is from left hand side to right hand side, right? But when you look at the from bottom to top, it is about the technical complexity, lower complexity to the higher complexity. So different project will fall in different quadrant of this, having the management complexity, technical complexity together, low high, high low, and high. This is what the truth table that you have seen in digital electronics, right? Now look into that. When I talk about the National Air Traffic Control System, it is higher management complexity as well as higher technical complexity, right? People have to understand about this, right? Yes, right. But when you look at the now look at the MIS system you develop it. It's a higher, management complexity and low technical complexity. When you look at the small scientific simulation, small application using GUI and other things and all, right? It is a lower technical complexity, lower management complexity. So when you do a project, you need to locate yourself where exactly you fit into that, right? Now look at that. The other important aspect I'm going to speak about that is the say higher technical complexity. So you are developing a compiler, highly technical in nature. But look at the management complexity, right? It is low, right? So an average software project, 5 to 10 people, 3 to 9 months duration, 3 to 5 external interfaces, some unknown and risk this and all. That's how some people have visualized and projected it. So you, when you develop a project, product, and develop, go through the project, whatever that phases you have, a group of 4 people you are doing it. What kind of complexity that you are addressing? Is it a technically high complex or technically low? Okay, is it the management complexity is high or the low and all? You need to try to locate from this particular thing, right? So please look into all these kind of things, right, which will help you in doing a good project, right? That's what I wanted to talk about that, right? And already I told you, if this complexity, technical complexity or managerial management complexity you do not manage, it result into crisis, late submission, over budget, deficient in their stated requirement, you lose customer base. Already I told you about this, right? And then one more thing which I would like to introduce to you. See, when you do a project, there is something called as a triangle of success. You need to have a certain process, you need to have a certain notations for your projects and all. You need to use certain tools. All these three together, it makes a product development successful things. See, you may be great, you may have look at that one of the edge of the triangle. You may have a great process, but if you can't communicate using notation, that's what you will see it in the design. Okay, in a design we use the different notations and all. If you cannot communicate, if you cannot build the design properly, right, your development fails, right? And you have a very good notations, you have got a very good process, but if you do not use the tools and all, then still you fail because you are not writing a small programs. Tools are required for managing the bigger large scale complex problems and all. To manage that one, it is required. So you need all these three things. So in a project we'll be asking what kind of notations you'll be using, what kind of process you have followed, what kind of tools you have used, testing tools, design tools, right? Version management tool, right? All these things are required, right? So now let's look into the textbook version, black and white. See, when you talk about the software product, there are certain essential good attributes or attributes that makes a product good, right? We talk about the maintainability. What do you mean by maintainability? Right? I develop a product, right? Release to the deploy, release to the customer, right? Lot of changes will come into picture, right? These changes, how do I quickly accommodate? Okay, I should not make my documents or otherwise whatever that is there very complex and make my life entire thing a very complex thing. I should not do it. So any change that I get it, I should be in the position to locate properly in the design, locate properly in the requirement, locate properly in the code and all. Okay, then bring a certain changes into that. So this is a adaptive maintenance change, and corrective maintenance is whatever the flow that is known to us, and with known flow we release it. I do corrections, releases, patches and all. So in order to do that one, okay, I should have a proper organization of my design, my requirements, my code, proper modular approach, proper structured approach and all, so that this term called traceability, right? I should be in the position to trace where I'm going to do the change, locate it, right? And do the changes. Any change I do, it should be within a smaller area. It should get reflected into that. It should not affect other part of the design, other part of the code and all, right? This is what we call maintainability. One of the things which facilitate maintainability is, right, object oriented design. We talk about the highly cohesive design. Every object is independent yet connect with each other, right? This nature, right, facilitates maintainability of the code. And another thing I told you about that one, polymorphic calls. So look at the polymorphic calls. Whenever a new object is being introduced, okay, my code, okay, small change I do it. Object reference I put it, right? Then that will make, okay, calling that particular object, right, without much altering my code, right, will help me to include a new object into that. So polymorphic calls enables maintainability of the code, which I have shared with you during my object-oriented introductory session to you as a part of Java programming, right? So that's what I'm simply referring to that. So this is about the maintainability, right? How do you design? How do you write a code? How do you build your modules and all, so that changes can be easily accommodated within that? Quickly you can accommodate that. And any change you do is impact, we call it as a ripple. Okay, the ripple, you throw the stone in the water, you find a ripple, you have to restrict that ripple within an object, and that makes the object highly cohesive in nature, right? That's Ashish, you can note down that one. Explain with example the essential attributes of good software. Explain with example the essential attributes of a good software. Explain with example. Please remember, giving an example is a very important thing. I explained theoretically now, right? The use of polymorphic calls, okay, enables maintainability of a code. How? Not on another question, right? How polymorphic calls enables maintainability of the code. Explain with a complete, okay, class diagrams. Explain with a complete example. Or, Ashish, you can note down, right? Prepare a business scenario to explain how polymorphic call enables maintainability of the code. Please look into that. You need to attend the classes for this reason. And any of you don't know, right, or you wanted a more explanation, right? Okay, we'll be arranging extra class on every Saturday and Sunday from CR side, and okay, we will solve all the problems. Polymorphic calls, you understood it, right? Any new
Sir,
object, okay, any questions?
sir, so what was the last question? Prepare a business scenario.
Yeah, prepare a business scenario to explain how polymorphic call enables maintainability of the code. It is not a theoretical things. Please refer my session on object-oriented things given to you. Prepare a business scenario to explain how polymorphic calls enables maintainability of the code. Here, scenario is important. Simply if you write about maintainability and all, you will not get a marks. So you need to attend the class. Are you getting this? Right? So you wanted any
Yes.
more? You wanted any more explanation on this? You wanted any explanation on this? Please look into that. I have an abstract class, right, called shape. I'll write it in short. So consider that, okay, I have a rectangle. I'm writing in a short derived from this abstract class. And abstract class has one method called, see this in short, I'll write to draw. This is the rectangle I have got. I got it is not truly a class diagram. Simply I'm explaining. I've got a circle which is derived from this abstract class, right? I got the triangle, right? This is derived from this abstract class. Now what I can do is I'll create one object reference O, okay, which is of the type, okay, shape. The object O is of the type shape. Yes. Then what I do is object dot, I'll put it draw. When I call this is the polymorphic call. The beauty of the polymorphic call is this. This is always an object reference. If an object reference contains rectangle, rectangle is drawn. If the object reference contains a circle, circle is drawn. If the object reference contains a triangle, triangle is drawn. Now this is the polymorphic call, right? Now how do it helps in maintainability? So consider that there is a change. A customer says that one, I wanted something, a different diagram, different shape, something like this, like this. And what I do is I inherit from this, right? And when I inherit, I will add a draw method for this naturally, because it will ensure abstract class will help, it will dictate the design solutions, right? Now what I do is in a menu, I'll create an instance of this polygon, right? And that reference simply O.D draw. Still my code works, right? I need not have to do much changes into that. Simply the object reference of this polygon, put it in O here, and my O.D will work, right? This is how I can make my code still work, existing things will work, and thereby maintainability I can achieve it. That means whenever any change I bring it, I should, with the least change in my code and my design, I should accommodate a new change that is required for a customer. That is called corrective maintenance, adaptive maintenance, right? When I adapt to the new requirement, I'll come to that 1 minute. When I go for adaptive maintenance, whenever a new change I do it with the least number of change in this one, easily locating that one, I should able to do it. This polymorphic call will enable this adaptive maintenance of my code and design. Okay, this is the kind of an example you'll be giving in the examinations. Ashish, any question at this stage?
No,
Ashish,
sir.
hope everyone has understood. If not, I'm not in a hurry to go to the next slide. Just shoot a question at me right now. My question is, now look at that. If this is not part of the textbook, part of the textbook you are seeing on the screen, mentality, software should be written in such a way that it may evolve to meet the changing needs of the customer. That's all. With this, you don't understand, right? My question now is that one, explain how or prepare a business scenario, right? How a polymorphic call will enable adaptive maintenance, right? Now I have to give an example with example. So the example goes like this. Consider the following class diagram where you have a shape, you have got a different rectangle, circle, triangle derived from that. Shape as a draw method, right? This is an abstract class. And my code looks like, yeah, O is an instance of an shape class. Then my code looks at O dot draw D. This is how I call that one as a part of polymorphic call. Now, as a part of an adaptive maintenance, customer wanted a polygon to be put into that. So what I do is I create a polygon here, right hand side, you can see polygon derived from the shape and develop this particular object independently. Okay, plug in my design and give a reference instance of this in O, right? My O.D will work as it is. I didn't do any change in my code. Simply I had to bring my small change of code, object reference, and put it in O. My O.D will work. So this kind of a complete illustration will fetch you the marks. And this is called learning, not a textbook reading here. Are you getting this? Any question at this stage? With business scenario, explain how polymorphic call enables adaptive maintenance. That's all.
So, so there's a question in the chat, sir.
You read it. You read
It's
it now.
about the yeah, yes, sir. It's about the example that you gave on the shape.
Yeah.
Yes. So it is. Does abstract class contain that new shapes logic?
No. Okay. Abstract class contains nothing except empty method called draw. Right? So what is the purpose of an abstract class? Not on this also. What is the purpose of an abstract class in design of solution? What is the purpose of abstract class in the design of a solution? Explain with the example. Again, same example you will give it. See, I wanted any new design, triangle, circle, rectangle, right, polygon, you do it, anything in a new, it must have a draw method named as a D here in this case. That is a constraint. That is architectural constraint. So whenever a polygon, I derive it from shape, the D is inherited. I must have the same name. So that when this object reference, when I put it in my code, right, O.D will work. So that it will not have any impact on different name that is to be used. So abstract class will architecturally dictate certain constraint on the design. Solution answer is this. The use of an abstract class is to architecturally put constraint on the design. What is the constraint? Every shape, whatever you have, you develop it, that must have a method called D. This is the constraint. Who will enforce it? Abstract class called shape here. Right? How it will enforce? Simply you have to derive your polygon from shape. Thereby, the constraint will come. You must give the implementation of D in polygon. Polygon implementation is in polygon. Triangle implementation in triangle. Circle is with a circle. That's what is a polymorphic call. Right? Thus, hope I have answered a question. Ashish. Ashish, all my dear student, this is called learning. Right? This is called learning. Got it?
Yeah.
Simply writing, theoretical thing, what is maintainability, whatever black and white you see here, that is not learning. Please remember. That is not learning. So you need to attend the classes. And this video, I'll make it available. Don't worry about that. Shall I go to the next slide until this session automatically closes? It continues. And you, Ashish, you can ask, tell all the people, you can ask question at any point of time, in between also, not necessarily at the end. You can stop me. The accelerator is in my hand, brake is in there in your hand. You can stop me anytime. Any question at this stage?
Sure.
Yeah. Make learning, listening enjoyable. Right? It is something like an academic ragging. You all people can do academic ragging to me. Okay, but objective, sorry, it is unparliamentary word, right? But it means that you can ask any question anytime to me. I'll give examples like this. This is called learn by example. Such example, when you give it, a theoretical subject will become more of practice based learning. So next point is dependability, right? What do you mean by dependability? Right? is my product reliable? Will it produce the same result all the time? Shall I depend on that? Will my product is secured one, right? My banking transaction is secured, that one my money will be safe. Is it that one, it is a safety one? Automatic door, when I press it, that one door, will it open or will it fall on my head? So there are many quality parameters we'll discuss immediately after this. Already little bit introduced that one, but in depth, textbook version in black and white, we will read it. All colorful things are mine. Black and white is a textbook. Textbook Somerville is a fantastic. Buy it. Don't take it from, borrow from the library. So this is dependability. Dependability is nothing but ensuring, right? Ensuring that, okay, a quality parameters are put into that. How do you put it? That is the detailed discussion. We'll do it in the next class. Got it. Now, when we talk about the efficiency, how much memory it takes, how much time it takes. Lesser the memory, lesser the time it takes to run the things, better things. Got it. So whenever you develop a program, right, please focus on, right, efficiency of the code you write it. The last one is usability, right? It comes with okay, user comforts, and this another name people nowadays they give it the user experience. It is a course by itself. So I'll be having given few examples in okay, my learning material which are provided in a Google class. I'll show to you. Allow me to okay, migrate to this. Right? Allow me to migrate to this. That's the beauty of online exam. Online classes. Right? Learning material. GUI sample for study. Usability, user interfaces. Some examples. Yeah, good error message, poor usability, poor okay error design example. Now let's look into that. Poor usability, right? I'll show you this. This is how you get into. Now look at the railway reservation system. Can you tell me that one? Okay, are you comfortable in using this? This kind of questions you will get in the examination. No, there is no fixed answer for this. You have to visualize, you have to use your competency, your capability, your ideation, okay, capability, whatever you got it through doing that introductory project. So now look at that. I'll explain. Enter train number. You enter train number. Enter source station, UBL. Enter class. Yes. Right? Date and all. Destination. Enter destination station code. This. Enter quota. Enter. Right? Clean data. Right? Then you submit it. You get something. Okay, whatever it is. Now, what are the issues? Are you comfortable with using this? If not, do the changes. I'll put this as assignment. Right? Okay. Ashish, have a okay, print screen capture it, do it. Or it is available in Google Class.
Yeah, yes.
Google Class. Now,
Yeah,
okay, okay, question is that, note down, from usability perspective, okay, comment on this user interface and redesign if required. Comment on the user interface given from usability perspective. Usability is nothing but how user is comfortable with this, and redesign if you suggest some changes. Well, that is a kind of examination that we do. I will not tell the answer for this. I wanted you, okay, I'll put this as an assignment, right? You, all of you, work on that and put it in our, okay, in class question bank. There is something called in class question bank where all the questions, whatever I ask, okay, and whatever you think, everything will be put into that. That will serve as a question bank to all of us. That question bank will help us to visualize possible questions and learn better. Don't think that same questions you will get it in examination. No. This is a one.
Yes, sir. Sir,
Ashish.
what was the comment on the picture on the Should I upload this picture also in
Yeah. Okay, in our in-class question bank, you have to upload question paper, this image also, right? And put a question. Okay, comment on the following user interface of Indian Railway reservation system, right? From usability perspective, right?
Yes.
Redesign based on your change request or change
Yes.
whatever you recommend. Got it? Put it now immediately
Yes.
after this class. Right? Now that's what I put it. Okay, in the beginning. Now look at the poor design. For all three, you put a question. For all these three, you put it. Now look at that.
Yes.
This is the user interface. This user interface, right? There was some attachment. We have done it for the email myself long back, 2008. 2008, the user interface. Myself, Vadvi, Tagaraju, right? So many people, right? Then attachment, it took around 10 minutes and afterwards it said error message. Oops, a server error occurred and your email was not sent. We could dig that one. What is the reason? What is the reason? Right? I leave it to you. Here, no answers. Is it a good error message that you have it? What should be the better user error message? What might be the reason for this error message? We were attaching a file. That's all. Is a hint. Sending it. Right? You visualize. And what should be the correct way of displaying the error message? That is what you have to do. Okay, when I got this error message, I got confused. What should I do? I was not aware. Finally, we did something and searched the internet and all. Then finally, we got it. So you don't. I will not tell answer. Now look at the good error message. Now look at that. Right? When we were doing user ID, password, confirm password, step number 1, 2, 3, they show it. And on the top, they say the new password must contain at least 2 numeric characters. Don't you think that one, it is educating the user? Whenever wrongly you do it, it is educating the user. It is showing the stepwise also, right? Don't you think that it's a good user interface? So one perspective, there may be a bad element in this also. Ashish, acknowledge me. Ashish, unmute.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah. Right, I'm hearing you. Right, in between you acknowledge me so that I feel that it's a regular class. Got it? Not all other people.
Yes, sir, sir.
Yeah, not other people. Right, you represent other people. Now look at that. Okay, when people talk about the usability, our practice based session is the example I have given to you. Okay, in the examination you will get some other user interface and you will be asked to comment on that. So software must be usable without a undue effort by the type of user for whom it is designed. This means that it should have an appropriate user interface, adequate documentation. Chalo, right? Only by reading this by a teacher, you reading by you writing in the examination, if you're getting 10 out of 10 for usability, do you think that one you are trained for this course? No. So I will how to pull some few examples which I have shown to you, and for that I need extra time, extra classes. I hope that you understand that whenever I call you, you people will come and attend. Otherwise, I'll simply read this and get into, which is not teaching and learning. Right now, you understood the usability. So I'll be getting into few other aspect of usability, dependability as a part of this continuation of this. Right? Now let's look into this. Already I've told you the quality factors. We were talking about the usability here. What is usability? Designing the product so that user feel comfortable. And we call it as user experience. So whenever you design user interface, you need to interact with the customer, develop a prototype, and catch their comfort and put it in the actual design. Okay, we'll talk about other things later. Efficiency, just now I told. Reliability, is my product reliable? In the sense, will it produce the same result every time for the same input? Today, 2 plus 2 equal to 4. Tomorrow, 2 plus 2 equal to 4.0001. How can this be a reliable product? Got it? I was talking about the other dimensions, portability, reusability, interoperability. We'll touch upon that in detail later as a part of an assignments. Today we spoke about maintainability, right? Today we spoke about maintainability, right? How do you make your code or design maintainable? Object-oriented design, making object highly cohesive, right? So that change is within an object. The ripple doesn't cross the object, right? Through this, I can make my code okay maintainable, right? Even having a polymorphic calls, even making the object highly cohesive, right? Please understand all these things, right? And other things, examples, I have examples, but it needs a time. I'll get into the examples later. The reusability one complete exercise you will do, right? So with that, you will be developing understanding something. But the same quality parameters from developer view, from end user view, from okay business community view, I can look into that, right? From developer view, I wanted my code to be maintainable, code and design. It should be portable, it should be reusable, it is a testable. Maintainability, today I gave an example. Reusability and other things we will tell you later through examples. From the end user perspective, people wanted a good performance. Whenever availability, whenever I request a service, it should give me a service. It should not say that when service not available, today is a Sunday, wait for that. Usability, I told you, I should, as an end user, I should feel comfortable, joyful journey, okay, using different user interface. I give an exercise to you, go through that. It should be secured. My transaction when I do, the money I transact from 1 lakh transfer from my account A to my account B, it should go to my account only. Got it? Once in okay, one bank, I don't name it, right? For ethical purpose reasons, right? I transferred 1 okay lakh. My bank account, everything was right. Instead of crediting to my account, it was credited to some other's account. Right? How secure is that? Got it? For that, you need a testing, right? Rigorous testing. You will study that in the last but one chapter about verification, validation through examples. It is a 3 credit course, but the content is 6 credit contents. Don't worry. Business community view. Time to market. I develop a product. I'll explain everything. How much time it is required so that I can penetrate into the market? How do I, okay, how much time it is required so that I can reach the market? Okay, all these things. Another important, beautiful things I'll tell you, right? And rollback schedule. See, what happens is now today, look at that. Your all mobile softwares, whenever they change, okay, the new version of that one, right? New change, right? Change automatically comes to you. Earlier, it was not like that. Everything you have to withdraw from the market physically and release again new things. But today it happens automatically. A rollback for your product, how quickly you can do it, how safely you can do it, right? How automatically you can do it. Rolling back your product, maybe operating system in your mobile. A new operating system will come, new version, automatically it gets updated. That's a beautiful rollback. Old system automatically get again to the back end. But earlier things, it was not like that. You need to uninstall, download a new product, then install all the things, right? Then look at the projected lifetime. Here I'm talking, right? Hope until this session ends, will continue. I told you about the time to market. I told you about the rollback schedule. Okay, what about the projected lifetime? When you build a product, release into the market, do you have a estimated projected lifetime for that? How long it is going to stay in the market? If you do not visualize that one, see, product development is not simply okay, writing a program. Product is not a program. Product includes a program. Product includes documents. Product includes reports. Product includes planning. Product includes certain visualization, right? Projected lifetime, cost and benefits, time to market, rollback schedules, and all that makes a product development. God, it is not a programming alone. The session will expire, okay, close in next 4 minutes. Whenever it closes, all of you exit. Until that, it continues. Right? You can see it on the screen. When automatically it ends, that's the end of the class. Wherever we are making half a sentence, it stops there only. And now look at that, another important thing, right? Okay, is about targeted market. When you develop a product, you know that one, okay, what is your catchment area? It will have an impact on the features, it will have an impact on the cost of the particular product, right? And benefits that you are going to get from that. That's what is the cost benefit, right? You need to have a resource planning, manpower management, manpower requirement estimation, how many people required, their salary, right? And the cost involves the other things that you spend with your employees, maybe their breakfast, maybe the electricity bill, maybe their comfort, okay, chair rent, right? Right, whatever the benefit that you give, everything per day cost of that employee, how many employees are there, multiplied by that, right? How much time every day they spend per hour cost, that will have an impact on the cost that you are going to estimate about the product. Got it? Estimation that you will see in the last chapter. How many people I employ, what are the resources required, what is my electricity bill, what is my rent, what is the breakfast, lunch that I give it to people, how much money I spend on other things and all. And my employee, such an employee, how many hours they spend, what is the cost of per hour, how much hour that I need to spend to develop a product and all, multiplied by salary, multiplied by number of people, multiplied by benefits, whatever that I give to them, all that per hour, per hour salary, and per hour they contribute, how much time it is required, all that is taken into account. You should have a visualization of that as a project manager, right? So this quality product, okay, this is another question, right? List a quality attribute exist in ISO IEC 91262001 information technology or any other standard. Not down, okay, not down Ashish, list and explain the various quality attributes exist in ISO IEC 91262001 or any standard, any quality standard that you see. Not necessarily only this. Go through this. Right? Project is not simply writing program. Project is visualizing end user's perspective, visualizing developer's perspective, visualizing business community perspective and all. Right? And you should be in the position to answer to all these things. So any questions now? It is going to close by another 2 minutes. Questions will be embedded as and when you get a question in your mind, not at the end. So now I will close and I'll continue in the next class on Monday, right from this point. I wanted Ashish to update our in-class question bank, right? And there are some assignments, I'll put it on user interface, right? You need to do that also, right? Identify something, whatever question, you'll put it in the inline in-class question bank. Same thing, I'll put it as assignment on user experience. Got it? Okay, thank you for attending on Sunday. Please, whenever I call, please do attend because that will help you, okay, know better, right? Yes. Thank you. I will stop sharing the screen, right? In spite of that, if at all you have any questions, there are only 54 students have participated, right, today. If you have any other question, personally also you can talk to me anytime, individually or in a group, right?
Sir, sir, we wanted to know what are the tools that was the fourth assignment.